right, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North Carolina and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, as well as StriveScan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off tonight, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded as well and will be made available within about a week at that same website, CACRAO.org. I would now like to turn it over to our presenters.
Everyone, I hope that all of you all are doing well. My name is Debbie McCain Wesley, and I am the regional admissions rep for the University of Mississippi, lovingly and affectionately known as Ole Miss. While I'm physically based in Northern Virginia, right outside of our nation's capital, I also travel and manage North Carolina. So I am delighted to be able to present and tell you all about Ole Miss, hopefully answer all of your questions, and hopefully it'll keep us at the top of your college list. Also joining me is my colleague and fellow Ole Miss alum, Kelly Slater. And Kelly is based in Atlanta, Georgia. And in addition to the greater Atlanta, Georgia territory, he also travels and manages the state of South Carolina. So again, we're delighted to be here with you tonight. Kelly, if you want to pause and say hello, you're more than welcome to, or we can just, get it started. And also feel free to ask questions as you have been directed to, and we'll be sure to get to those as well. So the University of Mississippi, lovingly and affectionately known as Ole Miss. We are the flagship university of the state of Mississippi. We were founded in 1848. We have a student enrollment of around 23,000 students. That does include our graduate school students, medical school students, law schools, so forth and so on. For our undergraduate makeup, on our main campus in Oxford, I'd say around 17,000 or so. We have a 17-to-1 student-faculty ratio, and our average class sizes tends to range between 30-35 students in a class. And I think that's one of the characteristics about us that attracts a lot of students, is that we're not too big, yet we're not too small. And I always enjoy saying, like, when we need to feel big, trust me, we absolutely do. But when we need to be more intimate and more engaging and more accessible to students, we are that as well. And we are the type of place where you can be kind of the big fish, in a smaller type of pond. We, of course, are part of the Southeastern Conference, and I do argue and boast that it is the toughest conference in the country. I know, we are. And with that, we are the third smallest within the SEC. So again, not too big, not too small, but a size seemingly for a lot of students and families, we're just right. We were founded as mostly a liberal arts type of institution way back in the day, but over the years, our programs have grown. We just now have an opportunity to provide more depth and breadth academically on a spectrum of academic areas and interests. And so incredibly strong programs within the arts, but also within the sciences. And so much so that we are recognized as a Carnegie R1 research institution. And so for students who are interested in the sciences, this says a lot about who we are, about the faculty that we attract, the faculty that we retain, because they're leaders in their areas of academic disciplines and research. And the benefit is that you're being taught by them, you're being mentored by them, you're having opportunities to be in those labs working right alongside them in your various areas of interest. Of course, in the state of Mississippi, The only medical school that's there belongs to us. So for students who have a passion to pursue medical school, school dentistry, so forth and so on, they often will look at the University of Mississippi as their place to be. And of course, we have been named one of the most beautiful college campuses in the country for a number of years. And if you've not had an opportunity to visit us, we certainly extend this invitation for you to do so. And we'll tell you how to go about doing that before this presentation ends. And of course, we have a number of top nationally great programs, and I'll highlight some of those as well. You're probably wondering maybe where we are. So the University of Mississippi, we're nestled in the northern part of the state of Mississippi, obviously, in a fabulous college town called Oxford. If you've ever heard of Memphis, Tennessee, home of some really great barbecue, home of Graceland, Elvis Presley's estate. So we're like a little over an hour outside of Memphis. So quick flights from South Carolina, from North Carolina, directly into Memphis. And then you hit Highway 55 heading south, and in about an hour, you're going to be in Oxford, and you're going to be on our college campus. And it's such a charming town. I usually describe it as a sophisticated Southern culinary and artistic delight. It's been called a cultural mecca, of the South. Named one of the top college towns by Southern Living magazine, Smithsonian magazine, so forth and so on. It also hosts and boasts a number of fun festivals. And you'll see probably listed here our double-decker and Sing the Bus too. So yes, that is real. And yes, we do have that in Oxford, Mississippi, because the name of the town actually derives from Oxford, England. And so there are touches of Oxford, England situated within the city of Oxford, which are with our double-decker bus, and also a lovely red telephone booth, which is a lot of fun for some Instagram photos. But we have a number of James Beard Award-winning restaurants and chefs, some really down-home, good cooking, home cooking, types of restaurants. Also love like gas station food. Yes, I did say that. Exxon, Four Corners, some of the best chicken on the stick you'd ever want to eat. You got to come to Ole Miss though to know what that means and what it's about. And of course, not far from Holly Springs area with the National Forest area, and then Sardis Lake. So a lot of opportunities for outing club, types of activities that's in very close proximity to our lovely campus. In terms of like the academic programs, we are a liberal arts and founded as a liberal arts institution, but certainly we provide so many opportunities academically. So you'll see like we have 80 plus undergraduate majors, and many of our academic programs are situated or defined in terms of schools and or the College of Liberal Arts. Our College of Liberal Arts is one of the largest divisions, on our campus, and there are majors from the areas in the arts to our health professions, program is a part of that as well. So it offers a lot of diversity within that. But then we have our School of Applied Sciences, pretty much where science and service intersect. So, communicative disorders, hospitality management, a number of types of programs such as that fall within that particular major. Our School of Journalism and New Media. So if you're interested in broadcast journalism and or print, wonderful program on our campus, and one of the fastest growing majors at Ole Miss is within our School of Journalism and New Media, and it's called IMC, Integrated Marketing and Communications. Of course, our School of Accountancy has been nationally recognized for years. Opportunities for students to pursue areas of study from their undergraduate bachelor's degree all the way through to a PhD in accountancy. Then our School of Business. A lot of students tend to be interested in us for our School of Business, and we offer a variety of concentrations within that particular major. So from general business to real estate to marketing, there are a variety of things in which you can choose to pursue. So our School of Engineering as well, actually we were the first institution in the state of Mississippi to create a School of Engineering. And while we are not a big program, you know, in terms of the number of students pursuing it, I think that works to our advantage because students have this opportunity to be more intimately engaged, you know, with their professors, knowing who their peers are, and a number of concentrations within our School of Engineering as well. So from civil to mechanical, electrical engineering, it's like a very popular, extremely strong program as well. So definitely something that you should consider and to think about. We also have a School of Education. So if any of you are interested in a career, perhaps in teaching or in some area of education, think about us. You know, there are programs that we'll be able to offer you from elementary ed to secondary ed. I received my master's degree from our School of Education in higher ed, and it's a fabulous program and a lot of really cool, innovative teaching styles, opportunities to really engage students so that they are getting that firsthand classroom experience. So once they leave, you know, our college campus and going into a particular school, they're ready. They have really been prepared and received a solid foundation within that program. And then, of course, our School of Pharmacy, and we have like one of the top schools of pharmacy. I want to say it's like a top 25 program on our campus. Students can enter that through early entry if they meet a particular, you know, criteria for that. But wonderful, just in the area, you know, of pharmacy in terms of research and whatever your desire is in pursuing that particular area of interest. So you see like a number of those schools, a lot of majors within them. And then in addition to that, we have some special programs. And I usually describe these as opportunities where students are able to just have their educational experience heightened. Maybe there's another layer to their educational approach. And these special programs allow students that opportunity. It does require a separate application. So while you will apply to the University of Mississippi when submitting a general admissions application, if you're interested in any of these programs, it will require a separate application, and we'll be in touch with you with regards as to when those applications will be due. But we have a wonderful honors college, you know, on our campus, and usually for students who have this desire to just go more in depth, you know, with their academic studies. They're more intentional about their approach to the way that they learn. They want to be challenged in a different way or a more specific way. This is a program that certainly would be suited for them. There is a thesis requirement upon graduation, you know, for these students, but it's a wonderful opportunity because the engagement with professors, they're very close-knit. It has its own space where students have access to our honors college 24/7. There's a fully equipped kitchen, so certainly prior to COVID, you know, students and faculty members, you know, in our kitchen at the Honors College, not only studying together, learning together, they're cooking and they're dining together and further building upon that sense of community and that sense of engagement. And it's also part of a living learning community. So even within the residential spaces, there are opportunities where Honors College students can continue to connect. Trent Lott Leadership Institute is named after one of our most respected alums, Trent Lott, who served for a long time in the United States Senate. And for students basically who are interested in public service, this is a wonderful opportunity that will provide a lot of opportunities for students to connect with our local, state, national leadership. And coming to DC, so here in my neck of the woods, that's what students will do, and having internship opportunities and being able to work and serve on Capitol Hill. And we have a number of Ole Miss students that are in this particular area, but really all across the country, that are a part of public service. Our Croft Institute for International Studies. So if you're interested in delving more deeply in a particular language and or culture, this is a program that we invite you to learn more about. Studying abroad is required, but students love that. And those students who are kind of interested in this, they're interested in the world and getting a better understanding of it and how they fit in it, and learning about different cultures and the diversity that's seen and felt and woven, throughout the world. And so Croft Institute, again, is a great opportunity for students. Of course, we like to boast, which is okay at times, that we have 2 language flagship programs in Chinese and Arabic. And this really situates us amongst a very small selective cohort of institutions, because not a lot of them do. So we are very fortunate in that aspect to offer 2 language flagship programs in Arabic and Chinese. Our Center for Manufacturing Excellence, one of state-of-the-art programs at the University of Mississippi that brings students from our engineering school, from our accounting school, from our business school, where they're coming together, working together, collaborating together. A wonderful manufacturing space that's right there on our campus. So you have our engineers designing, you have our business students writing out business plans, and you have our accountants that are there balancing the budget. So you're getting first-hand experience about a variety of things, and these students garner a number of internships by the time that they graduate. So job placement after their time at Ole Miss is incredibly high. We also have a Center for Intelligence and Security Studies. Students, again, who may have a desire to work and serve in those national agencies. So like the NSA, FBI, CIA, we have connections within those. And so this is a wonderful opportunity where students can kind of get on this path to that particular, area professionally, to be able to serve, get the necessary clearances. And a lot of these students, again, are here in my neck of the woods in DC, on Capitol Hill, maybe in the State Department, so forth and so on. The Mississippi Excellence in Teaching Program, it's wonderful, just again, for students who have a desire and this passion already that you want to be a teacher. Excellent program that will provide you with the financial means to be able to come to the university through its scholarship program, study and learn. But with that, there is this commitment, understanding, almost like a contract, that when you graduate, you will stay within the state of Mississippi. And for about 5 years, I believe it is, that you will teach at a particular school. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, to complete that particular program. But it's just a wonderful opportunity, for students. So definitely something to think about. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, one of our pharmacy school, top 25 pharmacy schools in the country, there is an opportunity for early entry. So even as, a senior in high school, depending on your high school curriculum, your GPA, along with those test scores, you'll have an opportunity to possibly gain early entry, into our pharmacy school that can kind of cut the time of study that will be required for you. So just a general overview. Certainly, I will invite you to go on our website because there are individuals with their specific contact information for each of these special programs that can go into more detail with you and for you. Student life on campus. I mean, our students, I usually say they work incredibly hard in the classroom because that's where they're, why they are there. But at the same time, they are very actively engaged outside of the classroom. And I think in a college experience, it's very important to have that particular balance. It's like not the all work and no play. You need to have this healthy balance of both. And at Ole Miss, we have like over 400 clubs and organizations. We do have an active Greek life system as well. I think about 40%, somewhere in there, of our students participates in Greek life. So wonderful opportunities for leadership and socialization through that. Our first year residency requirement. So depending on other places that you're considering, at Ole Miss, we do require all of our first year students to live with us for 1 year. We want you on our campus. We want you to be engaged within our college community, building those relationships, and really just for you, for the first time being out on your own, just growing and developing within yourself. And so you will stay on campus with us for the first year. And there are a number of activities and fun things to do that's centered around that residential life and that component. We also have 2 campus recreation facilities. The one that's always been there has been Turner Center. And I say always because that was the main campus rec center when I was a student. I won't dare tell you how old I am, but trust me, it was a long time ago. And now we have a new rec center called the South Recreational Center. And on the lower picture here on the screen, that's just a shot, of the entrance. Absolutely fabulous space, a rock climbing wall, tons of fitness room spaces, demo cooking. It's just a lot. And there's opportunities both in its interior space as well as in its exterior space. So it's just more, just an inviting place and space for students to go and kind of work off some stress and find that needed balance. And then, of course, we have a number of Ole Miss traditions on our campus as well. So from Welcome Week activities, Creed Week, the Rebel Run. I wish they had done that when I was a student. Get to go on go to the Vault Hemingway Stadium, where our football team plays, and the students get to literally rebel run and you run out, on the field, and it's just a lot of fun. And then, of course, spring concerts as well. I saw some really amazing concerts while I was a student at Ole Miss, and Kelly, I'm sure you did as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And many of those take place out in the Grove. And so that's the shot, the picture here at the top with one of our Grove concerts. Is that when Thomas Rhett was on campus? No, not sure, but he
Sure, maybe.
On there, maybe. And then, of course, I had mentioned earlier that the University of Mississippi is part of the Southeastern Conference. So we're Division I. Sports, you can see 16 men's, women's athletic teams. Many of them, just by showing your student ID, you gain entry. There are discounted, like student price tickets for our football games. And of course, the area on the Grove, it's a 10-acre gorgeous space, of magnolia trees, oakfield trees, and the Walk of Champions. And the picture at the top, it's like a picture of our football players where they exit their buses by the student union and they do the traditional walk through the Walk of Champions on their way to Vaught Hemingway Stadium. And of course, they're greeted by thousands of adoring fans, alums, friends, and all of that. And I have to say, if you've never experienced an Ole Miss tailgate, then you need to put that on your list of things to do, because we do it like no other place does. But that's just to share a little bit of information with regards to a kind of student life and those traditions. And so just to highlight a little bit on financial aid, there's going to be some additional information that's going to be forthcoming. So I do encourage you to visit our website, because we're going to be updating information about our academic merit awards and other scholarship opportunities. But at the University of Mississippi, close to about 80% of our students receive some type of financial assistance to be there and on our campus and a part of our community. We encourage students and families to complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. It actually opened last week on October 1st. And then we also have, and I may have mentioned earlier, and I'll definitely mention again, our special programs and scholarship application. That application is going to be available to you to complete after you have submitted your application for admission. And the priority deadline is January 5th. And the final deadline is going to be February 15th. But by completing that particular application, it's going to provide you with an opportunity to be considered for all of our scholarships on our campus, particularly those competitive ones. So definitely keep that in mind. We also have what we call academic merit awards, and these awards are automatic. So while we are test optional for general admissions, and I'll talk a bit more about that in our upcoming slide. So you don't have to submit a test score for this incoming year for admission. All we need is our admissions application and your high school transcript. But when it comes to our scholarships, we do need results of your standardized test scores. So just to be mindful of that so that you can act accordingly and hopefully be able to schedule, a testing date and to be able to submit those. But with those academic merit awards, typically non-resident students who have a 3.0 GPA and with, I'd say, starting around a 25 on the ACT and or a 1200 on the SAT, there's automatic scholarship money that's going to be available to you. And we just learned of this information earlier today, and we weren't able to get it in the slide, but again, it is coming. So it is going to be on our website. We will be producing information in our brochures that will be sure to get to you. So just know at the University of Mississippi, you will have an opportunity to complete the special programs and scholarship application so that you're considered for all of our competitive scholarships. And we also have the academic merit awards. And these awards are automatic and they're based on a 3.0 GPA and a standardized test score, either 25 on the ACT and or a 1200 on the SAT. The higher the test score, the higher the amount of academic merit award that you'll get. And also, if there are any alums who are joining us virtually, Hotty Toddy to you. And if you're working with your son and or daughter going through this process, do know that we also have non-resident alumni scholarships that will be available as well. And again, this information is going to be on our website and we'll be sharing in more detail. Here, at the University of Mississippi, in terms of kind of that application timeline for seniors out there going through this process, of course, as I stated, we would love for you to visit our campus if and when your schedule will allow you to do so. We are offering welcoming visitors to our campus for our campus walking tours and information sessions. So be sure to visit our admissions website. We will have all of that information there. So you can see the calendar, maybe you talk amongst yourselves, figure out a date that best suits you and your travel time, and register so that you can come and see us, where we can give you a general information session led by one of my colleagues from the office. And then you'll have a campus tour that's going to be led by a current student. So you're going to be able to receive firsthand information about their experience as an Ole Miss student, and certainly for you to see it for yourself. You're walking around on campus, hopefully you're envisioning yourself being a part of our community. So being in those residential halls, going and, grabbing a bite and or a cup of coffee, in our student union, studying in our library, just kind of hanging out in between classes, on the Grove. So we do welcome you to visit our campus, and we are offering campus tours. Our application is open, and we open them very early. There are two ways in which you can apply. You can apply using our institutional Ole Miss app, that's on our website. And we're also on the Common App. The institutional app has been open since July 1, and the Common App has been open since August 1. We're on what we call rolling admissions, and so we're just going to keep that application open for a very long time. Certainly, we don't want you to wait for very long to apply. So hopefully you can get, your application materials together and have that opportunity to submit them fairly soon. And that way you can kind of check that information off of the list. We, of course, non-residential application fee is $60, but we also learned earlier this morning, and I think it's okay for me, Kelly, to let everyone know that free application week that's going to be coming up fairly soon. So stay tuned. October 16th?
16th, 17th, and 18th.
Yes. Yeah. So that's going to be an opportunity where you can apply on us, and you don't have to pay that application fee. So if you've been thinking about it, waiting, just know that that's an option as well. And certainly once you submit your general application for admission, we'll then have available to you to submit your housing application. Because again, we do require first-year students to live on campus with us. And there's a housing application that you will need to complete to be situated for that. As I mentioned earlier, and I'll reiterate, our special programs and scholarship application, the priority deadline is January 5th, and the final deadline is going to be February 15th. But I usually encourage students, the sooner you do it, the better. So aim for that January 5th priority deadline. And then, of course, Kelly is so on it with our online registration for orientation, because once you've been admitted, you've gotten all your housing applications done, then we're going to, and you know that Ole Miss is the place that you want to attend, we're going to invite you to attend orientation and participate in that. And this is a wonderful opportunity where you're going to meet with your academic advisor, you're going to meet with other incoming students, just to become better acclimated and oriented to the college campus and more familiar with us. So definitely more information will come, with regards to that. And of course, you see here, this is Kelly, Kelly's information. My information is on our website. So I invite you, to visit there where you can see all of that information before you on that main admissions page. And he or I will be more than happy, to be in touch with you and to answer any and all questions, that you may have. And I think at this particular time, Kelly, is there anything you think that I left out? Because I do want to allow some time to see if we may have some questions in our chat, but anything that you want to add on or clarify?
I think you've hit all the main points, the main things I would go over. Nothing else I can think of at the moment.
Okay, fantastic. So this is our information here. So what I'll do is stop the share, and then that way we can maybe answer any questions that you all may have in the Q&A. Oh, okay. So I see a question here from Tyler, who's asking, what are the benefits of being a part of the Honors College? Well, you know what, Tyler, that's a fantastic question. And I think that having Honors College on your resume is in itself an honor and a benefit to say, just because the type of program that it is. It's challenging, but is equally as rewarding. And students are given an opportunity to register for their classes early. So that's a huge bonus where you get to register for classes before, anyone else. And I also think that close-knit community that our Honors College students have, one with each other, but also that they have with their professors. So smaller class sizes, more intimate type of engagement. And I love the fact that our Honors College students, they truly reflect the general student body. So there are students from all facets of our campus that are represented within our Honors College college, and also this mastery, of material and in a particular, academic setting. Anything you would add to that, Kelly?
Uh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Honors College is a great opportunity to really dive a little bit deeper beyond just what you might normally get in your classes. And usually the honors classes are taught and led by faculty who are really well known, especially in their areas, and who are really able to, in your classes, go a little bit more in depth into the topic that's being discussed and really bring another level of expertise and experience to the class.
Absolutely. Okay. Also, I see here from Ben, can you dive deeper into the flagship programs and what are they like? And in terms of the flagship, I am hoping that in terms of our flagship language programs, Kelly, am I interpreting that correctly, or our special programs? So as
I'm thinking flagship language programs, maybe?
Flagship language programs, we are recognized, as I've mentioned, a part of a very selective, small cohort of colleges and universities across the country. Very, very few that receive the type of funding that we do to be able to offer that type of enriching educational experience in both Chinese and in Arabic. And so for some students that have had an opportunity to be exposed to these languages in their high school, secondary, programs, and it's something that they want to continue to pursue, oftentimes they will look at us to be able to do that. And so it's just it's diving deeper, in the mastery, in the study of those particular languages, certainly going and studying abroad. That's also going to enrich, your undergraduate experience and your proficiency within that as well. And oftentimes students who are part of either of these programs tend to do a lot of things professionally with a lot of those agencies that I mentioned. So maybe like working with the State Department, maybe connections with our NSA, with FBI, with CIA. I would encourage you to visit the Arabic language, Chinese language flagship program online, because there are individuals in both of those departments that can provide more specific information. So I hope that helped a little bit. We also have a question.
Debbie?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can add something. So for the language flagship, and I can speak on this a little bit because before taking this position at Ole Miss, I actually worked for a Chinese flagship program at a different university, and so I'm pretty familiar with flagship. But one of the things that the language flagship programs do beyond a normal language program is it has a higher target for your language proficiency that you gain while in the program. So most people who major, let's say Chinese, would come out with probably a high intermediate mid language proficiency. Whereas with flagship, the goal is a professional level proficiency above the advanced. And so that is achieved through especially targeted tutoring sessions and learning opportunities by the faculty who know what the standard is for the flagship program at each level, who help you get there, make sure everyone's achieving those levels. And then one of the biggest parts that really differentiates the flagship programs from regular language programs is there's a 5th-year component called the capstone year. And that year is spent in the country where that language is spoken. So for Chinese, it could be mainland China or Taiwan. First semester doing an internship, first semester taking intensive language courses, and the second semester doing an internship in that language. And so it's really a program that's designed to help set you apart a little bit in those language skills and what you're able to do with them by the time you graduate.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. I should have recorded everything that you said so that I could remember to say it. Let's see, what are the requirements to apply? So at Ole Miss, the requirements are pretty much should be aligned with your high school graduation requirements. So typically students who've completed 4 years of an English, 3 years of math, 3 years of science, like with a lab, social sciences, like your electives. Those are like those types of set kind of academic requirements that we review. So you would send to us a high school transcript so that we can have obviously a better sense of how you've challenged yourself academically and making sure that you've met those particular, core requirements. And then of course that completed admissions application. But all of that information is on our website. So admissions.olemiss.edu, and you'll find that information there. Let's see, what else do we have here? What would you require a student athlete in high school to have? We have a number of student athletes, obviously, that come to the University of Mississippi, and our student athletes usually mirror the requirements of our other students. And so send us, your high school transcript, your completed application, and then we will be, in touch with you. I know, like with student athletes and with NCAA kind of clearing, we have individuals within that kind of clearinghouse program that works more closely with our student athletes. So if you, I'm not sure if you're from North Carolina or South Carolina, but either or, maybe send Kelly and or I, a text so we can get an idea of what particular sport you're a part of, and then we can get you connected to that individual that is represented on our campus. How diverse are you all? Oh, wow. So that's a great question. And it depends on how you define diversity, I guess. And Kelly, please feel free to chime in if you'd like. As I mentioned, of our 23,000 total students, of that makeup, about 23% of those students are students of color. And we have all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and close to 90 countries represented on our campus. So there's a bit of geographical diversity that's represented as well, while the majority of our students are kind of college age students. We have students also who represent various walks of life. I think last year, and I don't know if the student, if he graduated or not, but I think, Kelly, wasn't there a student like that was in their 70s? Or like, if not even older, on our campus. So you see that diversity represented amongst age groups as well. And then there's diversity seen in students and their ability to navigate themselves, in and around our campus, and maybe needing more access to ramps rather than stairs, for example, or needing, certain accommodations on our campus. So we see diversity in a variety of ways at Ole Miss. What am I leaving out, Kelly? Did I leave anything? Because that's such a big question that can be kind of defined, in a variety of ways, but a very good one. And I thank you for asking it. Let's see, what percentage of alumni stay in Mississippi post-graduation? Oh gosh, that's a good question. And to tell you the truth, I really don't know. I was one of those when I graduated, I moved, and a number, of our students do, and I think it just depends. That's a very good question, and I think it just depends, because we have so many wonderful advanced degrees that many of our students tend to want to take advantage of, and maybe pursuing our medical school program and or our law school program, or going into a graduate program that requires that they will stay, and then if there are opportunities for employment within the state, they do that. And then of course, as I mentioned very early on, we are so closely connected to Tennessee, and Memphis is like less than an hour away, even though it's out of state. So it's a large presence of Ole Miss alums, that are there as well. But our alums are all over the world, to answer your question. But in terms of the percentage that remain, I'm sorry, I don't know. Kelly, you have any idea? Yeah. You'll have to get back to us with that one. But that was a good question. What else? Did I get them all, Kelly, or did I miss?
I think so. I've been going through and responding to some as well.
Okay, great.
I thank you.
Great. Well, I will say this, like off the subject, just because if you all can see my background, Hotty Toddy, it says hashtag beat Bama. So this is Bama week at Ole Miss. Always so much fun. And this would have been, I think, taking the 2014 game, maybe, not sure, because we did beat them 2 years in a row. Yay!
That would have been 2014. Mm-hmm.
That was 2014, right? And so we need all like the good like energy that we can get. So all of you all out there from North Carolina, from South Carolina, just kind of send all this positive energy, towards Mississippi for us on a Saturday, because we're going to face off with Alabama. But it's always fun. And that's one of the things too that I think a lot of students and families are drawn to us. It's because of that. They get this really spirited, spirit-filled sense of community and camaraderie, and it just lasts forever. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining us tonight. When you close this window, you will be directed to complete a very quick 4-question survey if you have a moment to complete that. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the additional sessions happening at CACRAO.org. That's CACRAO. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings at that same website, CACRAO.org. Have a great night, everyone.